First off, a big thank you to whomever was in charge of naming Polestar models when the standalone brand launched 7 years ago. An automotive landscape littered with ridiculous names and baffling nomenclature, the Toyota BZ4X but one example, it is refreshing that Polestar simply started at 1 with their first model and it proceeded from there. Which brings us to this vehicle, the Polestar 3, the Swedish company's third model, 3, get it? And their first sport utility vehicle. While the Polestar 1 was a limited run and quite exceptional plug-in hybrid, since then the company has focused solely on all electrics, and all electrics with performance in mind. I certainly came to appreciate that a couple of months ago carving up a frozen Swedish lake in the Arctic Circle in a Polestar 3. But now I've just had a proper road test of this very powerful all-wheel drive EV during the global launch here in Spain. Let's take a closer look at the 2025 Polestar 3.
The Polestar 3 is a 2-row, 5-passenger mid-size SUV that debuts all-new aerodynamic features for a Polestar vehicle, including aero wings integrated into the hood and rear spoiler and rear aero blades. The Polestar 3's dual motor or all-wheel drive powertrain produces an impressive 483 horsepower and 620 pound-feet of torque. With the optional performance pack, those numbers jump to 510 and 671 respectively. On the drive through some twisty mountain roads north of Madrid, I could really feel the electric torque vectoring dual clutch system rotating the rear of the vehicle when I squeezed the throttle coming out of the apex of a turn. That dual clutch rear end also decouples the rear motor from turning the rear axle when on highway runs, which provides more efficient driving. The standard dual chamber air suspension also made a big difference when pushing the Polestar 3 along the undulating and winding roads. Designed to automatically adapt between comfort and dynamic driving characteristics, the suspension system comes with 3 settings: low speed, high speed, and off-road. The torque vectoring and air suspension combine to provide surprisingly nimble handling for this heavy SUV, underscoring Polestar's commitment to dialing in performance in all their vehicles. Sustainability is also part of Polestar's DNA, and so the cabin is fitted with animal welfare certified leather and fully traceable wool upholsteries. Power comes from a 111 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion battery pack with a reported WLTP range of 610 kilometers, which in real-world numbers probably calculates out to around 480 kilometers. With cold weather running in mind, the Polestar 3 comes standard with a heat pump to optimize climate and battery preconditioning, and it features bidirectional charging to provide vehicle-to-grid and plug-in charge capabilities. The 3 is the first Polestar to utilize an NVIDIA Drive Core computer, which processes data from the SUV's multiple sensors and cameras to enable advanced driver assistance safety features and driver monitoring. The infotainment system is powered by a next-generation Snapdragon cockpit platform from Qualcomm Technologies and is used to deliver high-definition displays, premium quality surround sound, and connectivity throughout the vehicle. What I really liked about the vertical display screen was the large, easy-to-read buttons on the customizable home screen. These screens are a distraction at the best of times, but the clear and concise labeling of functions really limits your time looking down. Despite continuing to distance itself from Volvo cars, the Polestar 3 has many of Volvo's next-generation safety features, including an all-new interior radar sensors that can detect tiny movements in the cabin. That means you'll be notified when you leave a child or pet in the back seat, and the system is also linked to the climate control system to either cool or heat the cabin if an unattended child or pet is in the vehicle. All-electric competitors to the Polestar 3 include the Audi Q8 e-tron, the BMW iX, and the Mercedes EQS SUV.
So full disclosure here, I drove the Polestar 1 in Sweden back in 2018, and at the end of that year chose it as the best vehicle I drove that entire year. I was blown away by the performance, its design, and the overall ethos of Polestar. Likewise, I was very impressed with the Polestar 2. However, there are a few niggling things about that I didn't like. It sounds like a small thing, but my knee room was crowded by that center console, which makes long-haul driving a bit uncomfortable and it just feels a little claustrophobic. Fortunately, that's not the case in the Polestar 3. The driving position is great and begs for a big road trip. And the performance and handling are more compact sport crossover than full SUV, a testament to the well-thought-out and executed engineering. All in all, a very impressive package. The Polestar 3 Launch Edition arrives in Canada this summer with a starting price of $97,400, while the regular model is expected in the fall with a base price of $93,200. Yes, that's a lot of money. But given the performance attributes, the cabin space for 5 occupants, and the design inside and out, a case can be made that there's good value for money here. In Spain, for Driving.ca, I'm Andrew McCready.